Hey guys, my name is Jeff Gadley, and you've tuned into this video because you probably typed in some keywords along the line of how to be a better husband, how to be a better boyfriend, something along those lines. And I wanted to put this video together to kind of give you some insight to what you can do to move in that direction. Now, I'm going to come a little bit from the negative side right now because that's the environment of where I initially started my life. I grew up in a very negative environment, grew up in Buffalo, New York, the hood as they say. And in the hood, you had to defend yourself. You had to defend yourself physically, and you also had to defend yourself verbally. So I learned how to speak to people in a very derogatory type of way, because most people were always talking junk to you, as we would say. And you would oftentimes have to defend yourself verbally against these people, sometimes physically also. But even when you played with your friends, you would play games of intimidation. You would play the games to where you would call each other's names and tease and things of this nature. And then the teenage years, of course, you're constantly having to defend during the teenage years. That's something we all have to do because there's just a lot of action and activity going around to us. We get bombarded with so many things. We learn how to develop a little bit of a tough skin. We learn how to say things just in a flippant type way without thought or consideration for what we're saying. So when we get into a relationship as a man, when we get into a relationship with a beautiful lady, what do we do when we have a little bit of discord? Well, we have a little bit of disharmony, so we go off the deep end and we carry on just like we're dealing with people of old. In other words, we carry on with anger, rage, and a bad attitude oftentimes. Now, I'm not claiming that you guys out there are anything like me or similar in any way. What I am saying is that I do know that a lot of guys go off the deep end in their relationship with their beautiful lady. And if you just happen to be similar to me, then chances are you have yelled, you have screamed, you have cursed, you have degraded, you have demeaned, you have said things to her to hurt her at the very fabric and fiber of who she is. That's not a good thing to do. That's unhealthy for her, and it's unhealthy for you. Oh, you get better at it, and your skills become even more perfected with the more relationships you have, because it's a repeating pattern. Here's what I realized. I realized the things that I was saying were not any good. I realized that when I would try to stop saying them, for example, this is a classic Jeff Gadley maneuver. I would go, okay, well, I won't do it anymore, but don't make me mad. That's what I would say. Or I would say, well, I'm not going to say I'm sorry, but, if you don't do that, then I won't do that. What? I mean, this was my mentality. I was a grown man speaking this way. I know people today that blow up and become so enraged, and I'm going, for what? I know guys that would become so enraged at their girlfriend, they would belittle them, they would curse them out, and they would curse them out in front of people. I mean, it would just be it was a mess. I was partly guilty with a lot of that junk. I was. I'm just telling you straight up. But I was able to make a change. Why? Because I chose to get new information into my brain. I chose to get new information into my brain. I realized I had a problem, so that's the first thing you got to do. Number one, you got to recognize that you have a problem and that you are the one responsible for your own thoughts. This is the most challenging thing for people, is to hold themselves accountable and responsible for their own thoughts, their own words that they speak, and their own actions that follow. You need to realize that it's you. The second thing you got to have in mind is a desire to change. You've got to have that desire built up in you really huge. For many of you, you're not going to change, unfortunately, and that's going to cause you a lot of pain. Let me explain. You're going to come home one day and she's going to be gone. You're going to come home one day and there's going to be a note for you. You're going to come home one day and you're going to look around and it's going to look kind of empty. And you're going to get the sinking feeling. And it's going to disgust you. And it's going to cause you great mental pain and torment. And you're going to go looking for her and you're not going to be able to find her. I'm just sharing that with you. Because if you love this woman, you better get the desire inside of you to change. Change because it's important for you, and change because it's important for her. It's important for the relationship. The third thing you have to do, you have to take in new information. No other way. Because right now, if you're anything similar to the way that I was, and I hope that you're not, you have a lot of bad stuff on the inside. That is your information that you're operating from. So you need new information. If you never knew how to ride a bike, how would you learn how to ride a bike? You would get information on how to ride a bike, usually in the form of someone showing you and telling you, teaching you and coaching you, right? That's how you learn how to ride a bike for most of us. If you wanted to learn how to play a musical instrument, what would you do? You'd have to get information, new information to you about a specific musical instrument that you would love to learn how to play. So when it comes to the thoughts of your mind, if you're operating from the stand of old, broken, corrupted programs that are circulating around in your thought process, what do you need to do? You need new information. I present the new information to you in a format that's easy to understand. How to be a better dude and treat your lady right. That's the new information. This is a printed version here. I don't sell it in a printed copy. I have it out at a website link to where you can download it, to where you can start to take in new information. The new information that you're taking in starts to percolate down through your conscious, down into your subconscious. And over time, the information here is what starts to rise up into your conscious thinking. They say, scientists that is, that 90% of your conscious thoughts come from the subconscious. That being the case, you can dilute out a lot of the old and bring up a lot of this new. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to do. There's a link down at the bottom, and I want you to check it out. Out there, you're going to have information on the table of contents of how to be a better dude and treat your lady right. And you're going to also have a free preview of Chapter 1 and part of Chapter 2, just to give you some insight into what's in here. This information is to be used on a daily basis. Why? Because it's through repetition. It's through repetition, consistency, and persistency that we do best with learning new information. And this new information is going to get inside of you and understand. It's going to start to break the shackles. It's going to start to break the chains of bondage to where your mind has been trapped. Like a slave, your mind has been trapped in a circular loop of broken and corrupted programs, just as mine was. So I'm sharing it with you. I'm not sugarcoating it at all. I don't sugarcoat the material. I tell it like it is. I'm straight up and I'm in your face. Because this is important to me, and this is important and should be important to you. My name is Jeff Gadley. Click the link down below. Go out and read all about how to be a better dude and treat your lady right. You are going to love the material, and she is going to love the results that she sees in you. We'll see you guys on the other side.